action. We're now live. Let's see how many viewers I can get here. I just need 2 people in my audience today. 2 is enough. In fact, I can get started because I'm going to save this video, upload it on my YouTube channel, and you guys can catch it. My name is Michael Amshadelo, and apart from being an entrepreneur, apart from running an empire, apart from doing a whole lot of things, I've always been a social activist. Now, some people always try and say, yeah, your activism only comes out when you feel like it, but my activism is only activated when I see injustice being done to my people. That's why it's called activism. You activate it when injustice is being done. So that's why I'm a social activist. But if you followed me, have been following me, you'd realize that I've been socially active for a good while now. But what I'd like to touch on today is, today I went into town. I was in Port Street Mall, and I'm a jolly person. Right? If anyone knows me, then they'll know that I'm the biggest clown. And I saw a guy who was performing. I'm not quite sure what the instrument is called. Maybe my friend over here can assist me. You know that instrument by Shani that we saw Shani like that. I think that was done at the unique Shandis. So I was there. First, I was a bit confused by this guy. Then I was like, wow, the guy's only trying to make a phone of music. Can't hear you. Okay, my bad. Most probably I've been holding the speaker. Apologies for that. So, as I was saying, I went into Town Square, Post Street Mall, not Town Square. I was in Post Street Mall, and somebody there was playing one of those instruments. I'm not quite sure what you call it. And for a while I was irritated, but then later on I joined the guy, and I basically started dancing. I started dancing to the music, and while I was dancing to the music, as people would pass by, I'd be like, please, $1, $2, please, whatever you can, please put in. So I was basically helping this guy raise more money, because I watched him for a while, a good 10 minutes. People were just walking past. No one was interested in his music, or no one was throwing coins. So I decided, well, I'm going to jump in. We're going to start dancing, and we're going to pull a crowd so that more people can come through and we make money. And things started going well, man. People started throwing in a whole bunch of coins, like a whole lot of coins. And all of a sudden, some guy from city police shows up, and he come and asks us, do we have a permit to be performing? And I asked him, what do you mean, do we need a permit to be performing? And he's like, no, you need a permit to be performing. I'm like, permit for what? Because I'm pretty much just dancing, and this guy is just playing his music. So unless you're telling me that I now need permission to be dancing, should I wish to dance? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm pleased to do whatever I feel like it. I can start dancing, I can start jumping, I can start shouting. I can do as I please, because as a human being or as a citizen, I've got rights, or certain rights that I'm entitled to. So this guy all of a sudden starts threatening me to say that, my boss, I'm going to give you a ticket. And then I ask him, you're going to give me a ticket based on what? Which city bylaws am I breaking? First of all, let's start there. Which section? Perhaps if you do not know then what bylaws are, because this guy is a so-called law officer, but he doesn't even seem to know what law I was breaking. All he could state was, boss, you are not allowed here, you need a permit. Nonsense. So I quarreled a bit with him. Luckily enough, the guys that I was with, they were like, boss, just chill, man, just relax, because I was ready to take that ticket or whatever he was going to issue me, because that's absolute nonsense that you're going to tell me. There's no way you're going to tell me that someone who's just playing music and someone who's dancing, they're breaking the law. What law are we breaking? So has this country come to a point where the poor can no longer do something for themselves so that they can feed themselves? Because that's what this guy was trying to do. This guy was probably a talent in playing music. He was trying to use his talent so that he can make money. And obviously, I don't know what he does with his money, whether he smokes his money, whether he drinks his money, he's trying to make his money the legit way. Then you find people who are not making money the legit way, they're allowed to continue making money the way they want. So it somehow bothers me that city officials in this town or in this country, for some or other reason, just can't find a way for us to coexist in harmony with everyone else. This is just absolute nonsense. It's absolute bullshit if you ask me. And this city councillors, they're either the most stupidest people, or I don't know whatever the case is. I mean, you can even look at the people who sell tomatoes and bananas, how those people are always being harassed. Like, these people are just trying to make a living, and now we're here busy harassing them. So we're basically forcing people to start this whole crime thing. You guys are saying crime is up and all these things. It's because some of these issues. How can I not go steal if I tried to make money in a legit way and for some or other reason I was fined? How can I be fined just for playing music? How can I be fined just for dancing in public? What sort of fines are this? I was pretty much entertaining the crowd, and for some or other reason, these guys just decide, yeah, we're going to give you a fine, you're going to go to court, blah, 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 blah. I was like, nigga, go ahead, give me your ticket, write it out, I don't mind, let's go to court. Because this is absolute nonsense. Where's the justice in all of this? The poor cannot do anything for themselves. Whatever they try to do, you guys find a way to say it's illegal. And when they start to do the illegal stuff, what do you guys do? You lock them up. Now you're locking up people for not doing anything illegal, and now you also want to lock them up for doing something legal. This is absolute nonsense, man. And as young people, we need to start waking up. Some of us are the reason why these guys are in power. And I don't know how to put this in a manner that's not going to offend anyone, but unfortunately it's going to be offensive. We are somehow stupid because we are allowing to be led by stupid people. Yes, I said it. We are stupid because we are allowing stupid people to lead us. It is us who are allowing these people to lead us. So if we're saying we've got idiotic leaders, then we too are idiotic because we are allowing it. We are allowing these guys to literally walk all over us as they please. But for as long as we as young people do not stand up together and do something, we're going to remain idiots. And the world is going to keep laughing at us because a bunch of idiots is what we're going to remain. A bunch of chaotic idiots. That's what we are. Because all we ever do is tweet about it. Like in my case, create a live video. Go back to your nice home, and then that's it. Nothing happens. So let's start doing something about it. We're young enough, we're energetic. Let's do something about it. I don't have all the ideas, but I'm willing to be on board with whatever suggestions some of you guys might have. I don't have all the answers. I'm not the smartest guy around, but at least I've got the balls to say that something is not right when I'm seeing it. So let's start engaging each other. Let's start platforms where we start discussing what can we do. Because guys, I can guarantee us, if we start even protesting, if we even start marching, just to say that enough is enough. This issue of city police harassing people who are just trying to make a living. Enough is enough. Because the funny thing is, there are known drug lords in the city. There are known thugs in the city. But those guys do nothing about it. All they ever do is just issue press statements. We are fighting crime, when the only crime they truly fight is preventing the poor from eating bread. That's the only crime they're fighting. So that's all I'm saying. I'm sure that guy gave you a ticket is young too. Those are people with bad mentalities. We need to change. No, the guy was an old guy. Like, I don't know, he was probably 40 or in his 35 or so, but we should also start thinking the kind of people that we employ, the rationality of thinking of our people that we're employing. So perhaps his rationality, but obviously, we all know how people who are employed by the law work. It's monkey see, monkey does. They don't question, they just do what they ask for. All they have to do is ask their soldiers or their commanders how high they jump. Because they are not, unfortunately, trained to think. They're only trained to do. That's the problem with our people who are supposed to carry out the law, enforce the law. They don't think, they just enforce the law. That's a bit unfortunate. So, as young peoples, let's start doing something, because if we cannot protect our own citizens, if we cannot safeguard our own people, then no one else can safeguard our people. The Chinese are allowed to do whatever they feel like doing in this country. They can shit and then tell our Namibians to pick up that shit, but they don't do anything about it. How many illegal places do we know of that are operating in Chinatown? But they never get closed down. They most probably say they had a raid and then the next day it's open. But they are constantly harassing our people. This harassment should come to an end. This is absolute nonsense. Tell them I said so. Tell those idiots that we voted for that they're a bunch of idiots, and we as young people should start doing something. Like I said, I don't have all the answers, but we guys can come together, we can start brainstorming, and we can surely do something about this, because it cannot be allowed, guys, man. 28 years later, we're still having bylaws that are oppressive to our own people. We're still having laws that are benefiting only a few. So let's start doing something about it. We do not understand the amount of power that we actually have as young people and as citizens of this country. For as long as we allow these people to take us for a ride, they're going to keep riding us until we decide enough is enough. So I'm done being taken for a ride. If you guys are also fed up being taken for a ride, let's stand together, let's join hands, and let's do something to fight this oppressive system. Because the system, unfortunately, is way too oppressive for us. Yeah, we're afraid. Like I said, we're idiotic cowards. So that's what we're going to be, and that's what we're going to be known for. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be remembered in the history books as being one of those cowards. I'm going to stand up, Egwarini, Chelekamakwa Teleful. If you hear tomorrow, the day after I died in a suspicious car accident, you know very well that those guys came after me and whatsoever. But enough is enough, guys. We cannot stop. We cannot live like cowards all our lives. Until when? Until when are we just going to be cowards? It cannot be the case. As young as we are, what are we going to be known for? Nah, it's not even about running for president, guys. Guys, if we cannot affect change while we're not in power, then we do not deserve power. The problem is when someone promises you that they're going to change things only when they get into power, then best believe me that that person only wants your vote so that they can get into power. People who affect change are people who are not yet in power. That's how it happens. So let's start influencing our brothers. Let's start influencing our sisters. Let's start awakening ourselves. Because as far as I'm concerned, we're going to remain in this situation until we do something about it. And the time is now, guys. Let's not wait for election. Let's not wait longer. Let's not, whatever the case is. This bullshit is going to keep happening if we just allow for things to be like this. We cannot just be on we can clearly see this country is being run into a hole. It's being run into a ditch. But for some or other reason, we are comfortable with this country being run into this ditch. I don't understand that. We literally do nothing about anything. And that's why these guys have become so comfortable in fucking up this country. And they're going to continue fucking it up until we as young people to say, enough is enough. We're fed up. We literally fed up. How many times do these guys tell you, no, you're part of the government processes, we're going to consult you, your opinion matters, but your opinion doesn't count for shit. It doesn't count for jack shit at all. Hence, this guy do as they please. But once this guy start realizing that we are literally behind their toes, we literally say, boss, if you mess up here, we're calling for your head. Because there is absolutely zero accountability when it comes to us accounting for this government. These guys can do as they please and nothing happens about it. Like I was reading today, ministers apparently got new iPads. What the fuck? Ministers getting new iPads. What for? Apparently the excuse is to reduce the paper trail. What the fuck would you need to give ministers iPads? Now, I did a rough estimation. If one iPad costs roughly, let's say, $13,000, and there are over 100 parliamentarians, that's about 1.3 million already wasted just on iPads. While I can guarantee you right now, there are schools who do not have textbooks. But it's fine. We're not going to complain about that. We're most probably going to make a few noise on social media, and that's going to end there. But instead, we should be by tomorrow already demanding that those iPads go back and that money be used to either buy textbooks or even build an extra classroom. Because there are kids right now in this winter being taught under trees. There are kids in this winter being taught under tents. Because unfortunately, there is not money. And I understand we are supposed to host the SADC summit where our president is supposed to take over the SADC chair, whatever bullshit nonsense chair you call it. It's going to cost 50 million Namibian dollars to host that summit. Just for one person to be given a seat, we have to spend $50 million. I'm like, what the fuck? In this world of technology, we can do a press conference call or whatever you call those Skype calls. We can even do a WhatsApp call. And then the other person just says, you are now taking over the seat, and then the ceremony is done. Not a single cent wasted. Most probably only the bandwidth or whatever the case is. But now, it's most probably going to be a band. It's going to be marches. They're most probably going to invite one of those jazz pianos, or what do you call those people? G. Yeah. Those trumpet players. What do I mean? Jazz. They're most probably going to call one of those jazz music players to come and do a whole musical show. Nonsense. So I'm literally fed up, guys. I don't know whether you guys are happy and you are complacent with the issues happening in our country. Maybe you guys are comfortable. Maybe you guys sleep well at night. But unfortunately for me, I don't sleep well at night. So I had to speak out my mind. And this is absolute nonsense, man. And with those whole fishing quotas, you guys can forget about fishing quotas. Don't waste your 4,000 or your 5,000 going to register a PTY or blah blah nonsense. You're not going to get a single fishing quota. Those things were already divided amongst whoever has to be divided. But we can decide to say, this is nonsense. We as young people, we demand fishing quotas. Guys, we can paralyze this country. Nice. This nonsense of we've got $50 million to host the SADC summit, but we don't have $50 million for young nurses to be employed. It's rubbish. This is rubbish. How many of you guys are struggling? In fact, this morning, I had a bunch of interviews that I was doing this morning. And I was shocked. Like, I would ask the person, okay, so what qualifications do you have? No, I've got a master's. I've got a degree. I'm like, you have a master's, you have a degree, but you're willing to take this option? And they're like, unfortunately, there are not enough jobs in this country. So our young people are being driven to desperations. And it's all because unfortunately, we've got a bunch of fools that are running this country. A bunch of fools, that's what I'm going to tell you. How is it possible that you've got a bunch of advices, but the bunch of advices only advise you? I don't even know whether you listen to the advice or what kind of shit is going on there. But this is absolutely total crap. So, young people, I'm imploring you, let's stand together. Let's truly fight these corrupt leaders head on. This thing of us just making noise every day, it's not going to work. Unfortunately not. So if we want to be a force to be reckoned with, let's start standing together and let's start doing something about it. Whether now we do marches, whether we do, I don't know, whatever it is that we decide to do, let's just do something about it. Like I said, I don't have the answers, I don't have the solutions, but I'm willing to support and spearhead whoever has solutions. So let's come together, let's make the change that we wish to see, because unfortunately our talking, our squabbles, our what, it's not going to bring about change. Precisely. Talk is always going to be cheap. But remember, talk is necessary to awaken those who are still sleeping. So let's not just say talk is cheap. Talk is very powerful, because talk can do a whole lot of damage than the physical action. But let's first do the talk and then we can walk the walk. So thank you so much for listening. Unfortunately, let me just end the live call now before tomorrow I hear they want to sue me, or I'll be in court, or they want to litigate me. But yeah, tell those bunch of fools, our so-called leaders, I call them a bunch of fools. Tell them so. And they can go say, I'm being disrespectful, I'm being what. It's not being disrespectful. When you guys disrespect the poor, when you guys evict the poor from their homes in this cold, now I see why the people in the apartheid regime went to war. It's because of things like this. This is absolute nonsense. So yeah, guys, unfortunately I have to end this live chat before I become more angry, because unfortunately becoming angry doesn't solve situations, but I think as a nation we're not angry enough. Like I honestly think we're not angry enough as a nation, because the way we are allowed to be treated in this country, this is absolute nonsense. Like, how is it possible for you to evict a family in this cold and not provide them with an alternative? Like, where do you expect that family to go? And this winter cold. Guys, I live in a home where I've got walls, I've got electricity, I've got water, I've got a roof over my head, I've got blankets, I've got a proper bed, but I still get cold at night.
I get cold, boss. It's bad.
How about the person that doesn't have the same sort of structure that I have? And 28 years later, we're saying that we cannot provide enough land, we cannot provide enough housing for everyone. But we sure as hell can buy iPads for idiotic ministers and parliamentarians. We sure as hell can buy them the latest Mercedes-Benz so that they can drive comfortably. We sure as hell can pave their roads to the homes where they live, while towns like Rehoboth don't even have sufficient roads. Let's not even talk about roads. Let's just talk about the basic things. Water. People have to still walk distances up until this day and age just to fetch water. Guys, we're a joke of a country, and we have allowed to be a joke. And I'm saying enough is enough now, guys. Let's do something about this. We have talked enough. We have made enough noise. Let's take serious action. I'm willing to organize marches. I'm willing to fund campaigns. I'm willing to do whatever it takes so that we can get these people attention and make them realize that we are done playing. we are seriously done playing. There are nonsense games that they've been playing for us. We are not our parents. Let's remind them very, very well. We are not our parents. We do not abide to foolish blindness where I follow you blindly. If I can clearly see you're doing me wrong, I'm not going to be my mother or father and follow you blindly and say because you brought about independence or because that time the Boers were beating. I was not beaten by a Boer. But I'm clearly being beaten by a repressive and oppressive system right about now. That's what I'm being beaten by. I'm being beaten by hunger. My brothers are being beaten by joblessness. Those are the things beating us. So don't come tell me, no, times were better when or it was worse when the Boers and wara. Guys, I don't know. I didn't experience the Boer story, but what I'm experiencing right now, this shit is worse. Because the worst part is it's being done by someone who promised me that they're going to treat me better. This is like being in a relationship with someone who says, you tell them the whole story, you tell them about your past, and then this person promises you, I'm not going to be like your ex. And they treat you the same way. In fact, they even treat you worse than your ex treated you. So, like I said, we're not gonna, let's not be foolish, like, not necessarily say, let's not be foolish, but let's not be loyally blind like our parents were or still are. Because you need to understand the era that they're coming from. Maybe these people, they look up to them as their messiahs, it's their Jesus, it's their gods. But to me, they are just men, women that unfortunately have most probably reached their peak and they are no longer incapable of thinking. Let's just understand it, man. These guys have reached their thinking capacities. Their thinking capacities, non to trabalho cabale. Not that I know what that means, but I'm sure their thinking capacities has over-exceeded their thinking capacities. They are no longer unable to think. That's the honest truth. We need new energy. We need young people to drive this agenda that we're trying to achieve. Because this thing of this old madalas and this old memes, it's not going to work anymore. These guys, instead of addressing issues, they are busy fighting each other now for fishing quotas. Cabeça não trabalha. That's what I meant. So, these guys, their cabezas, they are no more trabalha. So, they have reached their utmost thinking capacities. So, as young people, let's honestly start doing something about it. I'm going to start a WhatsApp group right now. I'm going to share the link. And from there on, guys, we can carry on this discussion. Let's do something about this. Like, I'm seriously tired. I'm sure most of you guys are tired. I'm going to start this WhatsApp group right now. I'm going to put up the link in my Instagram storyline. And then you guys can follow it. You guys can sign up. And then we need to seriously do something about this. So there's absolutely no way as young people in this country we're going to allow the poor to be mistreated, the young to be mistreated, the old to be mistreated. No one is going to be mistreated anymore in this country. This thing of only a few that are going to eat, it's not going to work anymore. We're going to start with NASFAF. We're going to start literally everywhere and anywhere. In fact, let's start with the fishing quotas. We're going to say this is nonsense. There's no way you're going to say that I must have a what registered PTY limited in order for me to benefit from my country's natural resources. That's nonsense, my boss. If we are either all going to eat or no one is going to eat. Telegram. In fact, someone can start a Telegram. I'm going to share it. In fact, someone get on it right now. Let's start the WhatsApp groups. Let's start the Telegrams. Let's start engaging ourselves. Seriously. These guys are going to start feeling that, there's something to be done. We're going to deal with all of them. The Nuyomas, the Pohambas, the Hages, the Gengobs. We'll deal with all of them. This country is not their country alone. They think maybe this country is theirs. They think maybe Namibia is only for them. This is nonsense. This is rubbish. Namibia is for all of us. It's for all of us, not just for a few of them. This is for all of us. This nonsense where they think they own this country. My boss, you don't own shit. You do not own fuck all. No, these guys have taken us way too long for a ride. When the tenders were there, the tenders were just being given to them and their families. Who benefited from a tender? Please, raise your hand. Only the corrupt benefited from those tenders. Them, their kids, their wives. Even I know of a minister whose daughter had to be married. This guy was broke as hell, and this minister unfortunately could not allow this broke guy to marry the daughter. So what this minister did was he somehow made plans for this new son-in-law to get a new job, got this son-in-law tenders and all those things. These are things happening here. So now I'm saying enough is enough with this nonsense. Me and you can't get jobs because an incompetent son-in-law of a minister needs to get that job, while you who spend your parents' last saving to get an education so that you can at least stand a better chance, are now being told kapene longa. Kapene longa se master ek veli vloek nie. But this nonsense of telling us there is no work while you continue employing your fellow comrades, I don't understand this logic. There is no money to employ all of us. Maar there is money to be paying for salaries of what do you call this? Advisors, deputy ministers, deputy nonsense ministers. Yeah, it's all it's all nonsense out in here. So let's seriously do something about this, guys. We can even just be 10 guys. Take our placards, we start marching. I don't need 100 people to start marching. I only need 2 people, and every day we go march. The crowd is gonna... Oh, guys, it only takes one individual. From that one individual, the rest of the people start joining. So let's not wait for us to be 100. Let's not wait for us to be 1,000. Let's not wait to be us to be 100,000. No. Let's start now. How many of you young people have registered CCs? You have been tendering left, right, and center, wasting your 500, your 600 on tender documents. But you didn't even get a single tender because Jessica connecting. You are not connected. How many of us? I didn't even bother with tendering systems because I knew I'm not going to get a single tender. The tenders maybe that I got, they came to me. I didn't go to them. So let's guys, this thing of we are waiting for Job and Panda, or we'll keep waiting like we are waiting for Jesus. How many years have we waited for Jesus? Jesus has not yet come. When your Kambashu is being beaten, Jesus is not there. When you are being thrown into prison because you have a fine, Jesus is not there. I'm not going to go live anywhere. I'm just going to live here. So whoever is with me, I'm going to start those Telegram groups. I'm going to start whatever the groups are and all of those things. So I'm tired of this nonsense. No. That's it. My bro, connections is the only way. The more with your qualifications here. Your qualifications don't mean shit. In this country, connection is stronger than qualifications. And it gets you into much far places than your qualifications are. At first, I tried being ignorant about this thing, but unfortunately, I can no longer continue being ignorant. I cannot. So, those who wish to join me, those who wish to really do something about this, let's start, guys. I'm 100% ready. In fact, tomorrow, we can even go start marching if the case may be. But let's first organize ourselves. That's important. When we have a strategy, that's how we can defeat the enemy. But when we have no strategy, unfortunately, we'll just be making a whole lot of noise. So we need to be strategic about how we're going to do and how we're going to go about doing things. So let's discuss those strategies. I know very well for sure that in those groups, our enemies are going to be in those groups. It's fine. We're gonna share the details with them. Let them share them with their masters. Ons worry nie. But they should know that we are coming. We are coming, my boss. Tell them. Ons is moeg. Ons is moeg gesukkel. Ons is moeg fellas and nonsense where they only give tenders to themselves, their kids, and everything. It's the game is about to change. This rhetoric talk is about to come to an end. This issue of it's only a few, that's ali werk. So I'm gonna end this live video now, and let's do something, gents. Let's do something. Cool.